What is happening, folks? Today we are here to talk about Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Not that one. Or that one. There we go. That's what we're here to talk about. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the TV show. Now, I'm a bit biased when it comes to the show because I've actually never read the Percy Jackson books. I've only seen the two movies that came out. So everything that I know about Percy Jackson came from those two films. That's just how it was. When I was a kid, I'm not really big on reading novels. I mentioned this in my Mean Girls video. I don't read books with words in them. I read books with pictures of them because I'm a cultured individual. So, I didn't read the Percy Jackson books like that. I tried to. I got up to the point when Percy kills his middle school teacher in the book, which is maybe like 20 to 30 pages into a book that's like 200 plus pages or so. So I didn't really get that far. And, I only read it because, again, I saw the movie Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, which is what got me into this series. So when I heard that they were rebooting the series and it was going to be more closely adapted to the books, because I did hear that the movies were terrible adaptations of the books, but I don't know, I still enjoy Lightning Thief, and only Lightning Thief. Man, Sea of Monsters was bad. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. I got into the series because of the Lightning Thief movie starring Logan Lerman as Percy Jackson, so I was excited to see this reboot come out that was going to be handled by the man who wrote the books himself, and, they were casting a younger cast to fit more with, the adaptation of the books and so on and so forth. So every Tuesday when the episode uploaded, I was there watching it on Disney Plus until the series wrapped up, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thought it was a really good retelling of the story with a bunch of different things that weren't in the movie that I think were better and cooler that I wish they hadn't cut out of the initial movie. But I will admit, the show did end up not doing something that the movie did that I thought was really, really cool. So if you don't know what Percy Jackson is about, it is the story of a man named Percy Jackson. Well, man, he's a 12-year-old boy. So it's the story of a boy named Percy Jackson who finds out that he is the son of the god Poseidon, and he is now sent out on a quest in order to find out who stole Zeus, the god and king of Olympus, lightning bolt, and return it to him. Otherwise, a war is going to start among the 12 gods of Olympus that would probably ravage the earth. So Percy and his two friends Grover and Annabeth set out on a quest to go and find out who stole lightning bolt, get it back, and return it to Zeus, all within the span of 7 days. Yeah, that's not a lot of time, and it's kind of a dick move in my opinion, but if you know anything about mythology, gods are kind of jerks at sometimes, so, it happens. So now Percy goes out on a quest, and the thing that I wanted to mention earlier that was in the movie that they don't really have in the show is that at the end of the movie, when Percy gets to the final fight, he uses his powers as the son of Poseidon to create Poseidon's trident out of water and throws it at the bad guy, and I was really hoping that that was going to happen in this show, but it doesn't. And I'm not gonna lie, that really disappointed me because I thought that shit was badass when I saw it back in the day. And I actually rewatched the movie last year. I still think it's badass. So, focusing more on the show is very well done. All the child actors in the show are really good and compelling. I liked all of them. They never felt like they slipped out of character, if that makes sense. Like, they never felt like they were just like, oh, that's just the kid who's just saying the lines. They felt like the characters that they were portraying. I never felt that, like, Percy just felt like the kid that's portraying Percy, or Annabeth felt like the girl that's portraying her, or Grover felt like the kid that's playing it. I felt like they were those respective characters, and they delivered their lines very well. The actor who plays Percy is actually very charming. The first time I saw him was in, I believe he's the same kid that was in The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds. He was really good in this role. He's very charming. He's got like a little rebellious side to him, which makes it very fun and entertaining. The actress who played Annabeth was very good at being the straight-laced, hard-ass kind of character, which is very hard to do because Annabeth is a very mature character, so, like, I would imagine a kid playing what's, like, the equivalent of, like, an adult in a child's body. She isn't actually that, but, like, she has that stern kind of appeal to it. And then Grover's fine. He's probably my least favorite out of the trio. I actually liked the, granted, I understand I'm probably going to get flack for this, but I actually kind of like the ridiculous portrayal of Grover from the movie more than I like Grover in the show, just because he was more entertaining in the movie. Now, granted, I understand it was a more adult and very drastically different from the book's take on him, but I don't know. I actually ended up liking that more than the kind of timid version that we get in the show, but that's just me personally, and you can hate me and send airstrikes to my house in the comments down below for my horrible take that you've just heard me say. But regardless of that fact, I really enjoyed Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I thought the effects were pretty cool. the CGI for the monsters and everything, although it's not the best that I've ever seen, I thought it was very serviceable for the show, especially since, you know, this is an 8-episode show. Each episode is roughly like 40 minutes to an hour, so like that's a lot of money to like budget out amongst that time, as opposed to like a 2-hour movie in which you could condense that budget and work on like the XYZ handful of monsters that are in said project. So I liked seeing what I did there between like the different, you know, beasts like Medusa and the Chimera, seeing like the power of the gods activate and stuff like that. It was awesome and I absolutely loved it. But I will share, I don't know why I said it like that. I will share one thing that is very cool that I liked but very disappointing, is that Lance Reddick does play Zeus in the show, and obviously, as most people know, he passed away recently. So I thought he was fantastic in the role, but it is a bit sad knowing that he passed away, knowing that he won't get to return to reprise his role in the potential future seasons of this show. So that is a bit upsetting, and I hope that, you know, whoever they cast next to play his role holds up the mantle that he left behind with his character, because he definitely gave a striking performance in the role. But aside from that, I really like Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I highly recommend it. It is a very fun and entertaining young adult novel adaptation show, however you want to phrase it, that is on Disney+. I think it's a show that pretty much everyone can watch, because like the show follows a bunch of 10-year-olds, so there isn't really a lot of profanity or like blood and gore and stuff like that. So like I think it's a show for the entire family. I think maybe like if the kids like maybe really really little, like, you know, 2 or 3 or whatever, that might scare them a bit, like seeing the monsters and everything. But aside from that, any other kid can watch the show perfectly fine. I mean, again, the series is about 12-year-olds, so I would imagine that a 12-year-old would sit down and enjoy the show perfectly fine, since it's about them. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Let me know what you thought of the show down below. If you're someone who read the books that now watched the show and you have thoughts about it, like the different changes that they made, if they made any, you know, because I heard this is more closer adaptation to the novels, especially since the man who made them, Rick Riordan, is making the show himself. You know, let me know about that, any changes and stuff that you liked, didn't like, whatever, how you felt about the show as a whole. Or if you're someone who hasn't, you know, you like the show, you didn't like the show, I'm curious to see what people thought about it, because I personally liked it, and I'm curious to see different viewpoints of it. From what I've seen, a lot of people have received the show positively, but, you know, you never know. Someone could hate the show, and I don't know. I'm curious to see what you didn't like about it if you didn't like it. So, that being said, I'm the innocent villain. Remember, folks, you're innocent to prove villainous, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.